We need to have a heart-to-heart talk because I really want to help you guys before you crash and burn. Trust me, I've been around this game for a very long time and I have seen some stuff, and I'm telling you, I'm telling you, we really need to have a heart-to-heart talk because some of you guys, you're on the verge of losing everything while you're trying to chase a dream. And I believe in putting it all on the line, but some of you guys are going about it the wrong way. You have good motives, but you're about to lose everything in the process, not because of the dream, but because of how you're going about it. So today, I want you to really hear me. We're just having a heart-to-heart, trader-to-trader talk today so that you can accomplish the goal that you're setting out to do without losing everything in the process. Okay? Give me a second. So here's what I want to say with this opening statement. And I want you guys to hear me good. And if you can, please get other traders on, not for the sake of, building up a channel or anything else, but we are universally across the world. We are retail traders, whether we like it or not, whether we like each other or not. We are one group. And then you have the institutional traders who's going against us, the banks, the institutions, large corporations. So it's them against us. And I'm not trying to pit it. It's just the way it is. So for you guys, you're going to see this discussion point. Even those people need to have been on today's discussion. Okay, so listen very carefully. Any traders get them on so they won't come into a situation where they're about to lose everything for the sake of trying to accomplish a goal. All right, here we go. Here's my opening statement. Stop making them pay, meaning your family or those close to you. Hear me good on this. Again, this is heart-to-heart talk. Stop making them pay for a dream they didn't ask for and then demanding their allegiance to it. This is your dream, not theirs. And you can say you doing it for them, but it's really all about you and what you want at any price. Hear me good. And the price is them. They are the unfortunate casualty of your mental war to achieve success no matter what. I hope you heard my opening statement, because this is the summation of many Forex traders, stock market traders, entrepreneurs, because that's basically what it is, entrepreneurs across the globe. This is your problem. You are about to lose everything that is supposed to be important to you for that dream. You are putting everything on the line. Now, when we say putting everything on the line, we're typically talking about I'm putting all my effort, I'm putting all my resources, I'm doing everything I can to accomplish a goal. But what you fail to realize in the process, and I have seen this time and time and time again, which is why I'm having this heart-to-heart talk with you, because I have seen time and time again where people have put it all on the line as entrepreneurs, but at the end of the day, it cost them more than they had calculated, because they realized later on, after it was all said and done, whether they even achieved it or not. Hear me good. Watch this. Even when they have achieved what they have sought out to do, they ended up finding out the price that they paid was much higher than they anticipated, because they are anticipating financial costs, hours of labor, hours of time, but they didn't realize that they were sacrificing their family and loved ones on the altar of success. And some of you guys who are Forex traders, you are notorious for this and you don't even see it. And so today I'm going to bring it to your forefront, bring it to your attention so that you can pay attention to what you're doing to your family. Now, if you don't have a family and you're single, you really need to be listening to what I'm telling you right now, because it doesn't change just because a girlfriend, boyfriend, or significant other comes into your life. They will still become a casualty, because until you fix this portion of you, anybody who comes close to you is going to be paying a dear price. I promise you that. Because you're not going to see it, because you're blinded by your own goals of achievement, your own goals of financial success in the markets, or whatever you're trying to work on. This happens all the time. Let me take a step back and give you my preference on where this is coming from. For years, I am a certified life coach as well. And for years, I have also served in a community, and I haven't done it in a while, but when I did, I also was a divorce counselor. and I spoke on stages, did conferences. I promise you, I've seen this. And many times, and I'll never forget, one of the best ones that I did was when I was invited to Dallas, Texas. Well, shout out to Dallas. And they were having a conference or whatever you want to call it for entrepreneurs, okay, a workshop for entrepreneurs. They called me in as a guest speaker. And I was in front of a room full of entrepreneurs of all different types, restaurant owners, this, that, you name it, they were in the room. And what I presented to them was information. They thought I was going to talk about how to expand business, how to gain more customers, how to do this, how to do that. I talked about none of it. I talked about the same thing I'm presenting to you guys today, having a heart-to-heart talk with entrepreneurs. And I asked them a question. I said, how many of you guys in there feel like you're building this business for your family? They all raised their hand in the beginning. As I did my presentation on data, statistical facts from the US government and all other places, some of you guys don't even know that the highest rate of divorce people who go through divorce, we all know that divorces are high. But did you know at that time when I was doing my statistical study on this, that out of that group of people who were getting divorced, the highest number of people who were divorcees were entrepreneurs. They lost everything for their dream. And this room full of people were excited that I was going to be here to speak, and they thought I was going to talk about strategies for business and this and that. I talked about none of that. And I began to go step by step like I'm doing with you guys now, talking about, and they had different businesses, but for entrepreneurs, it's always the same thing. Don't ever forget that. If you're trying to work for yourself, Forex trader, stock market trader, real estate investor, it doesn't matter. It's always the same routine. You're going to end up paying a price that you didn't understand. And here was the price: your time. And just so I can touch on a sore point for retail traders in the markets, oftentimes you're spending way more time on them charts than you ever do with your significant other or your children or your family. If you're single, the problem is you're creating this monster of a habit now, and then you want to get into a relationship and they have to suffer the consequences of your neglect of them because you're so busy on the charts all the time. You say you're doing it for them, but in essence, it's something driving you. Do you hear what I'm saying? And they're in a dear cost. And at the end, and if you are with a significant other, oftentimes you are getting upset because they don't support you. In other words, you're demanding their allegiance to something they didn't ask for. You said that you're doing it for them, but did you ever stop to ask them, is this what they want from you? You see, oftentimes we want something for others that they don't even want themselves. So this is a personal situation that you are thrusting upon them that they never asked for. And then they never asked for it in the first place. And now they are being demanded your allegiance. I pledge allegiance to your dream at the sacrifice of my heart. That should be the pledge allegiance to many of these families because they're paying a dear price being with you. You used to be close, now you're arguing all the time. You used to spend quality time with the kids, now you don't. You spend more time on these charts than you ever do with your family in a 24-hour period. And this is a hard conversation, but I told you we're having a heart-to-heart talk today. And I'm gonna give you some tips to fix this today. Some steps you can do today to fix it. But you got to be honest with yourself. See, integrity has to do with telling yourself the truth first. It doesn't matter what other people think about you. It's when you are by yourself, you know the truth, and only the truth will set you free. And I have been around highly successful people who used to, watch what I'm saying, gang, who used to have a happy family. And now either the family is in shambles or they've already been divorced and the family moved on. And now they have all this sexy success with the Lambos and the big house and everything else, but they don't have a family living in it. They're paying 2 mortgages. They made that success, and yes, they did it for the family, but watch how it turned out. They thought it was going to be for the family so that they can all live together in the same house and be happy, but it didn't work out that way because they put their family on the altar of their own dream and never included their family in the process. And as a result, yeah, you made all this money, but now you have to pay 2 mortgages, one for where your family is living without you, and the one that's keeping a roof over your head. Oh my God, this is something. And they all pay the price. And you never stop to ask them, is this what we are working towards? We. No, you want this dream. They want you. They want quality time with you. You spending all what they really want with the charts. And now your wife or significant other just turned out to be your side piece. As they say in the Bible days, a concubine. So you had a wife and a concubine. Now, for those who don't understand that, that means you had a significant person and then you had a side chick. So now in your family and in the dynamics of many of you guys' homes, your significant other just became the side chick and the charts became the spouse. It took over. And now you're demanding your significant other to pledge allegiance to your dream, which means to these charts that just fired this person from being the top priority in your life. Now they got to take a sidestep and still be loyal to the one that replaced them. Or let me give it to you in a way you can understand. It's kind of like you had a side chick and you had a wife. And now what you did was you told your wife that you're no longer my wife, you the side chick, and I demand allegiance from you to the new woman in my life who was the side chick. Now I'm making her my number one, and I expect you to be loyal to her. Don't that sound crazy? But that's exactly what you're doing when you're spending all this time on these charts, because you're not doing as I have told you to do many, many times. And I'm going to help you with some tips, but I got to put it in your face first. Your family is going to cost, it's going to be the cost of your dream if you're not careful. Right now, as I'm doing this video, I ain't got that problem. My wife is making me and her breakfast, a brunch as we speak. So when I'm done eating this, doing this video, I'm going down to have brunch with my wife, and we're close, unlike you. See, I'm not going to do this at the price of my family. It's either with them or I just won't do it at all. Now let's get to some tips. Number one, and this is going to be a short one. Number one, choose a trading session. Now this is for Forex traders. I know thousands of people watch this later on. So I'm just talking to the people who trade in the markets. Okay. But if you are doing another type of business, such as real estate, which I've done, if you're doing stock market, which I've done, and here's the difference. And let me say this, hear me good. You know what the blessing is for people who trade in the stock market versus the people who trade in the Forex market? You want to know the clear difference as to why many of them still end up with their families and the Forex traders do not. You want to know why? Binary option people, same thing. Here's the difference. The stock market, it in its own self has a time when it opens and a time when it closes. I'm going to say that again. So it automatically regulates how much time you can spend with it, because it opens at a certain time and it closes at a certain time. And when the market is closed, unless you're trading futures in the futures market, guess what? You're done for today. Now, the problem with you is when you're supposed to be done, you should be spending that time with your family, but no, you're still researching stocks, checking financial reports. You understand what I'm saying? That's the problem with the stock market traders. Problem is with a Forex trader, it's totally different, because the market runs 24/7 and it doesn't stop until Friday afternoon and gives a one full day break, which most Forex traders spend the whole Saturday on the charts, marking them up so they still don't take a break. And then they reopen at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. So realistically, 24/7, Forex traders are always wrapped up in the charts. They eat, sleep, breathe at work thinking about the charts. They have the MT4 or MT5 on their phone. They're always attached to the charts. Always. They never take a break. Do you see the problem? So because the opportunities are running 24/7, you think you need to be there 24/7 for the charts. You see how you just replaced your family for these charts? That's very dangerous. Because you're going to end up, all you're going to have in the end is these charts. No family, nobody want to be with you. You're going to be alone, just you and these charts. You and your new porn addiction called charts, if you're not careful. Now, again, let me give you some tips and we'll be done. Number one, again, choose a trading session. You have actually 5 trading sessions. You have the London, but before London, you have the Frankfurt session. So you have a Frankfurt session, London session, you have the US session. Okay, let me go through it. US session, you have the Aussie session, the Sydney session, you have the JPY or the Tokyo session, then you have the Frankfurt session, and then you have the London session. You have 5 different sessions that you can trade. If you play bingo, you know they do it in sessions. You know, you got 5 different sessions you can play in. And then after that, you get up and you stop. Because each session possesses enough hours in its time frame for you to be able to do a significant number of trades or trade and then walk the heck away and you quit. See, you have to self-regulate because the stock market closes at a certain time. It opens at a certain time and it closes at a certain time. So it automatically shuts you off. But the Forex market runs 24 hours a day. So it doesn't have that capability to shut you off. It's like going to a casino. The casinos, you notice if you ever go to a casino, they don't have no clocks on the wall. They don't want you even knowing how much time you spent in there because they just want to suck the money out of your pocket. And that's the way the Forex market is. There's no clock on it. There's no nothing. It's just open 24 hours a day, just like a casino. And as long as you're willing to play, they're willing to play with you. So you have to be the person who self-regulates. I'm not a gambler, but when I do go, if I win anything, I take my money and I get up and I'm gone. I'm done. You ain't gonna play no more. No, I'm done. I'm out. See, self-regulation will save you headache and heartache. And so your family will respect you. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is a hard lesson, but you better learn it. Now let's go to number 2. Number 2, just like you have work times at a job, do the same with the charts. I actually consider myself going to work. When I go to these charts, and I ain't trading. This is a job. It's just a way of making money. And I treat it accordingly. It is a job. I'm going to work. And then I'm off work. I don't want to be on the chart. I don't want to be addicted to the charts. That's where that term I gave you a long time ago, #UncleP, market addiction. That's where that term came from. I was trapped in it and I didn't know how to get out. I really didn't. I know what I'm talking about. This ain't no book knowledge. This is personal experience. I understand the mind of the trader, the emotions of the trader, especially when you're struggling. No mentorship and you trying to figure it out. And it seems like every strategy you come up with, it keeps collapsing on you. So then it draws you in to figure out another one and another one. And how many times have you said you was going to quit, but you right back at it again and you over and over and over. I know the trap. Trust me, I do. So it's not intentional that you're neglecting them. It's just that you have a desire to succeed. And it seems like failure keeps coming in your doorsteps. And as a result of that, it draws you back in again. Say, well, maybe there's another way. And there you are on the charts again. You said you was going to shut your computer off, but 5 minutes later, you're walking back in there again. Trust me, I know. I design trading systems. I know you have to it just requires time. But sometimes you have to take a break. You have to do this because the markets is just going to take you in this Monday. Many times you want to come, it's going to be there. And meanwhile, your family is on the sideline with their arm folded, wondering, When are they going to get more time with you? And you don't know when to quit. And they're feeling neglected. And you're demanding allegiance. Do you see how this creates a sick cycle? Let's go to the next one. Number 3, stop demanding their loyalty. It is earned, not forced. I'll say that again. Stop demanding their loyalty. It is earned, not forced. You cannot force a person to be loyal to you. They have to want to. Now, let me explain what I actually did with my marriage with Nancy. With her, I explained to her what I'm doing. She doesn't want to trade in the market. She's a writer. She's a blogger. She has her own career. She has degrees. So she doesn't have the desire to trade in the markets. She has her own world. And so what I did, I told her I want to be able to finance your world. So I explained to her the steps that I was going to take. She watched me make mistakes. She watched me lose a lot of money. She watched a lot that happened to me. But I kept her included into the steps so she understood I wasn't trying to neglect her for the sake of my own personal dreams. And I kept collaborating with her so she can see how, if I do get this, how it would work to help finance her dream. See, we did teamwork. Let me give it to y'all like this. Some of y'all so silly. You heard this term before. Teamwork makes the dream work. The problem is you're not a team player. You're a dictator. And you're demanding allegiance to a dream they didn't ask for. You're not including them in it. You're not talking to them about it. You're sneaky. You're stealing money out of the family account to put into your trading account as opposed to trading in demo until you get the rhythm down and a sustainable, trackable success strategy. No, as soon as you hear about a new strategy, you instantly put money in your account that wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be for the family. You took it, put it in there, and then when they find out, and then you get mad when they get upset about it. So you're trying to demand something from them that you don't deserve. You're being slick and sneaky with your career and expecting them to support you. And you're about to lose everything. See, I talk to my wife every step of the way. That's why when I do interview her, a matter of fact, we've been traveling a lot, and we're leaving again this week, heading to Miami for her birthday. See, I completed what I told her. I honored my vow to her, but I didn't neglect her in the process of trying to get there, trying to get the bag. No, I'm not. She is my bag, and the money is just to accommodate what I wanted to do for her the whole time. You guys are backburnering your own family. It's ridiculous. Earn their trust by speaking to them about what your goals are. Do you do this? I show her sometimes, like the other day, I'm working on a new program, a new software, and I called her into the room. She don't trade, but I called her in the room and I say, "Hey, babe, this is what I've been working on," because I know I've been putting in extra hours on these charts other than normal. But I brought her in and I showed her, and she said, "Oh man, that is cute. That is." Oh, they're going to love that. And that was, see, it was a simple, quick conversation. But what it did was it explained to her why I'm in my office on these charts more than normal. So that she understands, here's what I'm working on, here's what it's for, here's what it's going to do. And it was like a 5-minute conversation. But what it did was to include her till she'll know and understand what I'm doing, as opposed to just leaving her and then I'm just cooped up in this room all by myself and no communication. What's one of the biggest reasons why people get divorced? Communication. What's one of the biggest reasons why you're going through hell with your family? Communication. See, they don't have to want to do what you do, but at least if they understand what you're doing, then okay, cool, I get it. But if you're not communicating with them and you're being slick and sneaky, taking money out of the family account, stuffing it in your trading account, and you ain't even tested the strategy on a demo account. So you're just going about things crooked and wrong. And then they get mad when they have something to say about it. No, they should. You're using family time and family money to chase your dream. I told you, a lot of entrepreneurs say, "Oh, I'm doing it for my family." No, you're not. You're doing it for you. Because you ain't even thinking about them. You're selfish. So stop lying, talking about you doing it for your family. No, this is about you. And you're trying to demand their allegiance to your foolery. And you're undisciplined. You're very undisciplined. And they see it. And when they call you out on your bull crap, you want to get upset with them. No, it's the truth. They're having to pay this price. They didn't ask for this. Let me go to this next one and we'll be done. Number 4, make them feel like a priority and they will support you. Let me tell y'all something. I'll never forget, I was listening to my wife. She was on a phone conversation. This is real. This is real. I told you, I don't pull no punches. It is what it is. And this is my wife right here, by the way. That's my wife. See, she's on my screensaver. She's on my screensaver. That's my boo. Let me tell y'all the truth. I'll never forget, and this was not too long ago, a couple of months ago. She was on the phone conversation and I was working, but I overheard her talking on the phone. And this really broke my heart, but it really, and it was funny because we talked about this yesterday. Let me tell y'all the truth about trading, the truth. It's the truth. So I overheard her talk, and she said, I remember he was working at this job and he got a big bonus check because I was a good salesman on, I was working for a medical company that sold medical devices, right? And so I had got a little bonus check. Well, it wasn't little, it was a nice bonus check because I hustled my butt. That's another little side note. Stop trying to be in a rush to quit your job until you establish a consistent way of trading. When your trading income exceeds your regular income, then and only then should you quit your job. I'm quitting my job. I can't stand my boss. You better sit your butt down until you get consistent. Because see, part of the reason why you don't like your boss because they keep calling you out on your bull crap. In the markets, they don't call you out on nothing. They just take your money for your foolishness. So until you get yourself a disciplined strategy and you have your routine down and treat that Forex career like a job, I show up at a particular time. There is a particular time I actually go to work at the Forex market. I don't want to be in the markets other than that. I go to work at a particular time and I'm off work at a particular time. This is a job. And I treat it like such. And I respect it like such. Some of you guys, you don't. And you're trying to quit your job that is putting food on the table for the family, jeopardizing the roof over your family to chase this freaking charts, and you are undisciplined and you're not a good trader yet. Not because you can't be, but because you're all over the place. You got 50 different strategies, 50 different indicators. You don't want to be taught nothing. You don't want mentorship. You don't want to learn. You don't want to spend money on a good tutor. You don't want to do any of that. You want to do everything on your own, and your family is seeing your reckless behavior. And then your boss is on your case because they see that you're not a good employee. And yet you're saying, oh, they always own me. I want to quit my job. You better sit your butt still. Because if you can't be disciplined on the job, you're definitely not going to be disciplined when it comes to these markets. Good job. See, there you go. See, a specific time then I go to work in these markets, and a specific time I'm out. I'm done. I am done. And my wife knows it. Why? Because when I'm done working on these charts, her and I, we're always going out doing something. We go for walks in nature. We do something. So every day I spend quality time with my significant other. Now, why I don't mention our children? Because all of our children are grown now. But I still connect with them to make sure we're talking. As a matter of fact, our youngest son, we just took him out to the movie last night. He has his own place, but we still connected with him to spend time, quality time, took him to my Olive Garden, everything else. See, I don't disconnect my family from what I do. Are you understanding what I'm telling you? So here's the point. As a result of them knowing how important they are to me, because every step of the way, even with my children, some of you guys who are paid members, you remember you met some of my kids because I interviewed them in there. Matter of fact, my son gave a bunch of you guys a strategy using my system. He said, here's what I did with my dad's system. And he taught you guys about the D1 strategy. See, I included my children in it. You met my youngest daughter. I interviewed her. See, I bring them in. Now, whether they want to do it or not, that's their choice. That's fine. But at least they know what their daddy doing. I involved them into the story so that they don't feel neglected, like they ain't worth nothing to me. And my dream of chasing this Forex market is more important. I never do that. When I did real estate, honest to God, and I'm going to get back to my story about my wife and then we're done. When I was doing real estate, do you know when I owned a lot of properties, a lot of times I would take my children, they were 9 and 10 years old. I would take them with me to work on the properties and they learned how to tear out sheetrock, how to lay carpet and everything else when they were 5, 9 and 10 years old. Because I always wanted them to understand how their daddy earned money. And I didn't want to spend all this time working on properties without them knowing that they were important. So in order to do my job as a property owner and to be able to not neglect them, I would bring them with me. And they learned work habits because they worked with their daddy. They saw and they painted walls and they laid carpet and they laid sheetrock. Now they don't have to want to do it as adults, but at least I involved my family. I never left them like that. Some of y'all doing that now. Now let me finish up with these 2 stories and I'm done. Going back to what my wife said. She was on the phone with somebody and she said, yeah, I remember he had got this big bonus check. And he took the big bonus check and said, hey, honey, I'm going to trade in the markets with it. And she said he went and traded into the markets and lost all that money, thousands of dollars of a bonus check. See, I told you, I'm not going to lie. That was years ago when I was coming up the ranks, but she still remembered it. But something I said, y'all missed. Notice what she said. She said, yeah, when he got his bonus check, he told me that he was going to put it into the markets. Notice the difference between what I did and what you did. And at that point, when I said I was going to put it into the markets, she had a veto vote to say yes or no. But since it was a bonus check that I earned from my job at that time, she didn't argue about it. Why? Because it didn't take from the family budget. I always made sure the bills were paid on time. I never snuck money out of the account like some of y'all doing, jeopardizing your family. You got an electric bill to pay, but you took the electric bill money and put it into the markets. Now, how stupid was that? And now you're trading under tremendous pressure. Just not wise. Just not wise. So when she said on the phone, yeah, I remember when he lost all that money. The one beautiful thing is my wife never put me down because of it. Because I included her in the decision in the first place. And it was just bonus money. It was a lot of money. And I had worked my butt off to be number 1 in the company, number 2. I was always in the top. So when that bonus check came out, I was excited. I could have used that for something better. But I just at the time, I thought. And I lost it. But she wasn't mad. Why? Because I presented the information to her in advance and I told her, here's what I wanted to do. At that point, she didn't negate it. Why? Because I included her in the decision. Some of you guys, you don't. You just do stuff and then you tell them later when it don't work out. And then when they have something to say about it, you get mad. No, you was wrong. Just yesterday, we were driving. After leaving our son, we took him to Olive Garden, took him to movies and this and that. And like I said, I'm taking my wife to Miami this week. And my wife reflected on where we came from and how far we got. And she said, I remember there was a time where I wanted to go see my family out of town and you couldn't even afford to send me for an airline flight. But she said, look at where we are now. Look at where we are now. And so because I did things right, my wife is proud of me. We just had this conversation in the car last night on our way home. And we were discussing her flight this week. We're leaving to take her to Miami for her birthday. Staying at a hotel that's on the ocean. And then I booked her something else yesterday. I booked her a trip for next month We're meeting some family down up in Lake Tahoe, and I got her a room with a balcony overlooking the entire lake of Lake Tahoe. Beautiful views. See, I can do things now, and I still have my woman, and I still have a relationship with my kids and everything else. I didn't sacrifice them on the altar of chasing the bag to get the money. I did things right. I hope y'all hearing what I'm saying. I know a lot of successful people who are divorced. They have plenty of money, but they out there on the dating scene because they lost their family in the process. And now you're constantly with people who just want to date you because you got money. And now you just sleep with them, but you can't trust them. Why? Because the one you could trust, you burned them in the process. You were foolish. I'm done. I hope you hear what I'm saying. There's a clear process to success, but part of that is including your family in the process. Talking with them, including them. Stop sneaking money out of their account, putting it into your Forex account, and then being slick and sneaky. And then when things don't work out, you got to come back and explain. And if they have something to say about it, you want to blow up and have an attitude. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You need to fix that before you lose everything. Let me leave you guys with one more bonus. And my wife, I hear her clacking in plates. That means food time is ready. Let me say this and I'll leave you guys with this. I'll never forget years ago when I was really, really young, I had started working for a major company. And if I say their name, every one of you guys will know exactly who this company is. It was a network marketing company that was selling health products. And I went to a seminar, and these guys, they were two white guys, they were standing on stage and they were speaking, and they were mega wealthy. For some reason, I didn't join that company, and I ended up, and this is years, like over 20 something years ago, I joined that company. I ended up working with them. And as a result, I don't know why they chose to work with me one-on-one, but the two successful people who were on stage, how often does that happen? The two successful people, there was other speakers on stage, but the two top successful people chose to contact me and work with me one-on-one directly. Both of them did. And one of them was so rich, he stayed in Scottsdale, Arizona. So rich, he had his own helicopter to travel, to get back and forth. He don't drive in traffic, he traveled. I mean, just mansion, and the other one stayed in another. But here's my point. We would do a three-way call quite often. And during the three-way call, one of the things that we would talk about is, hey, how's your family? That's how we would open the conversation up. Hey, how's your family? And we would just share a little bit about how each person's family went, right? Now, I'm climbing up the ranks, being successful and everything else. But I noticed something. God gave me wisdom when I was young. He gave me ears to hear and to listen. And I started noticing that one of the ones, when I would talk, when we would introduce, he wouldn't say much about his family during the introduction like we normally would. And then later on, the second person, when we would do the introductions, hey, how's the family? They wouldn't say nothing about the families. The second person did that. And you're talking about these two mega rich white guys working with this young black dude. And I'm on the phone with these successful people, rich. And I'm here, and the Lord had me to wake up my ears to pay attention to what was going on. And I noticed they weren't talking about their families. So then, I don't remember how the conversation came up, but I know one of them said he was going through a divorce. The guy with the helicopter, Scottsdale, Arizona mansion, Mr. Rich, Mr. on the stage, doing all the, going through a divorce. And then shortly afterwards, about a month or a couple of months later, I noticed something was strange because the other guy didn't live in the same state in Scottsdale, Arizona. He lived in a different state, but I noticed he started spending a lot of time up in Scottsdale, Arizona with the divorce guy. Come to find out, he also was going through a divorce. So they climbed up the ranks of ultimate success, but both of them were going through a divorce. So this guy with the helicopter, Now he has a helicopter and nobody to fly in it with him. The other guy spending more time up in Scottsdale, Arizona with the other rich guy, and neither one of them. So guess what I did? Back then, working with two of the most top successful people in this company, and if I said the name of the company, you guys would know exactly who they are. And had I stayed with them, I would probably be multiple, rich, beyond my wildest dreams. But it would have been at the cost of my family. And I made a decision when I figured out, you know what, these guys are busting their butt, but they ain't got no family. And I'm a young guy with a young family back then. I ended up quitting that business. I walked away. At the height of my success, working with the top people in the company, and I still had the wisdom to walk away because God opened my eyes to see what was going on. That if I keep on following successful people the way they're finding their success, I would have got the results they got, which means I would have lost my family too. So I had to make a decision. Do you want to be rich or do you want your family? Because the way they're mentoring you, you're going to be able to have only one or the other, not both. And I quit. I stopped. I quit a business that could have made me very, very wealthy at that time as a young man in his 20s. They were going to hold my hand to the dream of success, the epitome of success. But when I looked at my mentors and saw how it looked from the top of the mountain, I didn't like what I saw. Because I saw they lived in big houses and had all the fancy things that the world had to offer. But the one thing that was most important to me at that time, they didn't have, and that was their family. They sacrificed their family on the altar of success because they didn't do it right. So if you caught me at this tail end, play this video back from the beginning. I promise you, this will save you in the long run. I know a lot of successful people, even in trading markets, and they're still divorcees. They've lost their family. Not for us. That's not God's way. And I won't do it. And neither should you. There should be a time when you're on them charts, and there should be a time you should quit and walk away. I see you guys who are my students. Derek, just like you, thank you, bro. All my fellow students and the thousands who will watch this later, if you're my student, I will see you in class on Tuesday, but I'm out.